Two large storm systems are coming this weekend, and this will bring severe weather back into the picture for millions of people. As we head into Saturday, the jet stream will begin to dive south, sparking multiple rounds of thunderstorms from the Midwest to the East Coast across some of the same areas currently dealing with dangerous air quality and hazy skies from the Canadian wildfire smoke. These storms will have the potential to produce damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes. Additionally, we are continuing to track a tricky tropical disturbance that will become problematic near Florida and the Gulf Coast this weekend and into next week. Today, we're taking a look at the weather across the United States, including several rounds of severe weather over the next few days, wildfire concerns, and the area we're watching for possible tropical development near Florida and the Gulf Coast. We have a lot of big updates to talk about in today's forecast. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Starting off with a look at the radar across the United States, we're going to be watching for several different areas as we head in through the next few days. Conditions are expected to become increasingly active as multiple systems move across the country, bringing opportunities for thunderstorms and severe weather. I'll be continuing to monitor the radar throughout the day for any storms that develop and, of course, any warnings that are issued. So, looking at the weather outlook for today, starting with today, which is Friday, we have a marginal risk of severe weather for these areas from Denver into Phoenix, Arizona, into Denver, Dallas into Houston, and then Miami all the way through Atlanta, Chicago, and Boston. We have a marginal risk of severe weather in these areas of the United States. So looking at today's severe weather outlooks, we have multiple areas across the country where there's thunderstorms are possible. So the areas where I just highlighted. The main thing to watch today will be where storms are able to develop and strengthen. Stronger storms will bring gusty winds, hail, heavy rainfall, and frequent lightning. If you are in one of these areas, make sure to keep an eye on the radar and have way to receive weather alerts. Heading into Saturday, this is where our severe weather situation starts becoming more concerning. We're watching a large area extending from portions of the Midwest towards the Ohio valleys and into parts of the eastern United States. The main threat here with the strongest storms will include damaging winds, large hail, and we also cannot rule out the potential for tornadoes. This one of the period, this is one of the periods I'll be watching especially closely, and the exact placement of the greatest severe weather threats could still change as we get closer. So for Saturday, we have a 3 out of 5 enhanced risk of severe weather. We have a 3 out of 5 enhanced risk of severe weather near Chicago and New York. We have a 3 out of 5 enhanced risk near the Chicago and New York areas, along with a 2 out of 5 slight risk of severe weather And then we have a marginal risk again for areas like Dallas, Hutchinson, and Hudson. And then we have another marginal risk of severe weather near Atlanta, going into New York, and going into New York and Atlanta, New York, and Chicago. We have another marginal risk of severe weather in this area and near Boise, I think is how you say it, and then near Phoenix and Los Angeles. So, and looking ahead into Sunday's severe weather outlook, we have, Saturday, we have a 4 out of 5 moderate risk of severe weather. Moving into Sunday, the severe weather threat continues further east. We're watching portions of the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic and Northeast where another round of strong to severe thunderstorms may develop. Damaging winds could once again be significant concerning with these storms, along with a possibility of hail and local rainfall. Anyone that's in these areas should continue checking the forecast, especially if you're if you have outdoor plans this weekend. So we have a 4 out of 5 moderate risk of severe weather near Atlanta, Georgia, near into Atlanta, Georgia. So these are the areas where we have a 4 out of 5 moderate risk of severe weather near Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, and Chicago. And then we have a marginal risk of severe weather for these areas towards the northeast. I think that's the northeast, something like that. If we take a look at the radar for Sunday or Monday, I think it's, let me see here. As we look into here we go. That's this, okay. But yeah, as we head into the week, or Sunday's gonna look like a busy day for severe weather, for the severe weather outlook for Sunday. So again, I'd make sure that you have way to receive weather alerts and make sure that you guys stay safe. All right. By Monday, our attention remains focused on portions of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. So we have a 3 out of 5 enhanced risk of severe weather for Monday. By Monday, our attention will remain focused on portions of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. There is still potential for thunderstorms across the region, and we'll have to see exactly how conditions evolve following the storms from this weekend. The forecast can change several days out, so I'll continue watching from any adjustments to the severe weather risk. So we have a 3 out of 5 enhanced risk of severe weather for Monday. Going into Tuesday, as we move into Tuesday, we have another area we're watching is around the upper Midwest and Great Lake regions. So basically Tuesday we have another moderate risk of severe weather, another 4 out of 5 moderate risk of severe weather for Tuesday, going into Tuesday. So as we move into Tuesday, another area we're watching is around the upper Midwest and Great Lakes regional. There is currently a signal for the potential of severe thunderstorms in this general area because we're several days out. There is still potential for uncertainty regarding exactly where the strongest storms will develop and what the primary hazard will be. We'll get a much closer picture as we get closer to Tuesday. And then as we get into Wednesday, we have a slight risk of severe weather near Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia. And then heading into Wednesday, the forecast may shift back towards portions of the East Coast. The current outlook highlights an area around portions of the Carolinas and Mid-Atlantic for the potential for severe thunderstorms. Again, this is several days away, so the location and severity of this threat could change significantly. This is something we'll continue watching throughout the weekend and into early next week. And now severe weather isn't the only major. And now the severe weather isn't only the major story we're following. Canada Canada, recently there's been some wildfires up in parts of Canada and Minnesota. Canadian wildfire smoke. Now, severe weather isn't the only. Okay, I already did that. Canadian wildfire smoke continues to be a concern, with smoke and haze potentially affecting air quality across portions of the United States. So it looks like we've got some air quality index in these areas near Chicago and here in Minnesota and Kansas City, Washington, D.C. So if you're in an area experiencing poor air quality, especially if you're sensitive to smoke, and make sure you check your local air quality information and following guidance from local officials. Thunderstorms moving through some of these areas may temporarily change where the smoke is considerate. So conditions can vary throughout the day. And finally, let's talk about the tropics, the tropical. And finally, let's talk about the tropics. We're continuing to watch an area near Florida and the Gulf Coast region for the possibility of a tropical development. There is still uncertainty surrounding exactly how the system will evolve, so it's important not to focus on one specific outcome this far out. Regardless of development, and portions of Florida and the surrounding regions could potentially see impact such as increased rainfall and thunderstorms, depending on how the system evolves. We'll continue to closely monitor over the coming days and provide updates as the forecast becomes clearer. So potentially we have a disturbance. Through the Gulf of Mexico and Florida area, it looks like. So we'll be keeping an eye out on that as we head into, or as we're heading into next week. So that's everything we're talking about right now. We have multiple opportunities for severe weather over the next several days. Ongoing concerns surrounding wildfire smoke and air quality, and we'll keep a close eye on the tropics near Florida and the Gulf Coast. And remember that forecasts can change, especially several days in advance. So make sure you have multiple ways to receive weather alerts, and stay tuned for the latest updates. If you enjoyed today's forecast, make sure to subscribe to TrevorWX for more weather coverage and updates. Stay safe, stay weather aware, and until next time, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this weather forecast. Again, sorry if I was taking multiple takes or whatever, like if I was stuttering throughout what I was saying. Please forgive me. I'm still getting used to this and stuff. But as I continue to practice and practice more, I'll get better and better at it. So, yeah. But until then, guys, stay safe, stay weather aware, and I'll see you guys in the next weather forecast.